Welcome into the Fox West Texas studio. We are here with one of the police chief candidates, Lieutenant Mike Hernandez, a veteran with SAPD. We usually don't ask how you're doing, but I'm going to do it anyways. How are you doing today?
I'm doing very well.
Well, it's very good to see you here in our Fox West Texas studio. I'm just going to jump right into the questions. No real fastballs I'm going to throw by you, but how has it been for you just on the campaign trail, doing what you've been doing over these past several months?
Well, it's nonstop. It's tiring, to say the least. We start early if we meet somebody prior to work or at lunch or even after work. Sometimes I'm getting home a little after 9 p.m. And my wife actually says I'm averaging about 2 seconds flat to go to sleep. So that's a good thing.
How do you manage the day-to-day schedule with everything that you have to do? You're an elder at Celebration Church. You're still active with SAPD. I've seen you at multiple different events with SAPD officers. So how do you manage that schedule and, push forward a campaign at the same time?
Sure. People have asked. I continue to do my job. I'm lieutenant over our criminal investigation division. I oversee our CSI and evidence, and I'm also our critical incident commander. It's a lot of hours. I still have to put my hours in. Thankfully, I've got a lot of time built up as far as vacation, holidays, flex time that I need to take off to do such events. And it's not easy because if the job calls, then that comes first and the campaign comes second.
Mm-hmm. What have you been hearing from people on the campaign trail? What sort of things are they concerned about, and what do they like about you?
I believe we've been hearing good things, a lot of great feedback. When they say things like, we hear you're in the lead, and I'm like, well, we're going to work like we're behind, because you should never get complacent, of course. But we hear good things out there. We even hear, good things from the little ones. I just wish they were 18. We had a couple of youngsters that did a lemonade stand for me so they could raise funds for me. I just met a young lady today at TOC for her birthday at lunch. She has been campaigning out at the front of her yard with my signs telling everybody to vote for Mike Hernandez, and I just am humbled, to say the least.
How do you play chess in this scenario? I know that's a weird out of left field. What is your campaign strategy? How do you, I guess, not prop yourself up, but let voters know that you're the best man for the job? Well,
that's actually in my platform and/or goals, however you want to look at that. If you'll go to, on my webpage, mikeforchief.com, I have that I want to instill pride or bring back pride to police department through improved discipline, through training, which brings recruitment and retention into play. And I do believe that with having run in 2016, and here I am again, I'm a little bit more knowledgeable. I've actually commanded now another division under my belt, and I'm our critical incident commander for the police department at this time, and I have been for the last 7.5 years. And we've had several critical incidents over those years, and we've been successful.
Have you worked directly with your opponent before?
I've actually, if I haven't just supervised and/or given them all I got as they've promoted, then yes, day to day, elbow to elbow, work very well together.
Mm-hmm. Very well together. Can you expand on that? What kind of experiences have you had?
I'll never forget when Lieutenant Chimino became a lieutenant. He came to me for a few months to ask me about what it was to be a division commander over patrol. And I gave him all I got because that's what we should do. We should pour into the next guy hoping that they'll be better than we were. I've done the same thing for Sergeant Griffin. He's worked for me on patrol. And I've asked things of him to ensure that, that the division is being run correctly. And so we're all friends. We're good friends. We're all Christian men, except for when it comes to training and experience. I've got twice as much as both the other candidates.
I want to expand on that a little bit because I was wondering that, knowing that you both, well, at least I haven't spoken to Lieutenant Chimino, but I have spoken briefly with Sergeant Griffith, and I've obviously spoken with you a fair amount. I've been wondering just how do you maintain that competitiveness and do things the right way as far as a race like this goes?
Well, I learned a lot from the first time, and obviously I'm still here. I still worked for the last 8 years after not having become the chief. And you just have to be professional. You just have to know that we're doing this, it's bigger than us, okay? This is for not only bettering the police department, but it's for the community as well. And that's who we serve. We're supposed to serve them all. And that's what is something that I strive to do, that if I get into office, my mission statement is to serve and protect all who call through pride, professionalism, and purpose. And if I can't stand on that, and if my character and my integrity don't speak for itself, then who am I? And so things have been said. You know, the ups and downs of a political race are not easy. Things are said, things are done, and you just got to keep moving forward. And so I just choose to stay in my lane and do the best I can every day.
So I want to switch gears a little bit and talk about some of your experience just in general, having done this for the amount of time you have. So with this many years in law enforcement, what has kept you there? What keeps you from, riding that horse off into the sunset and deciding to do something else?
When I decided to become a police officer, I knew that I needed something to set me apart. And so I went to the Marine Corps. When I met my wife, she knew the route of what I wanted to do with the rest of my life. And she would rather come home than have stayed in the Marine Corps. So she kept in the bargain by allowing me to do everything and anything that I've done at the police department. And I've had quite a career. I've been very satisfied with everything I've done. I think I've worked every day that I've been there. And, I just never settle for anything less. I have my basic, intermediate, and advanced master certifications. I've got the FBI National Academy under my belt that none of my opponents have. It's a 10-week leadership course that I'm very proud of that you do at the FBI in Quantico, Virginia. I have never settled for that I've learned it all. I've always talked to young officers about practice the 3 L's: look, listen, and learn. And the day that you can't learn is the day that you probably need to step aside. And I'm not ready to step aside. I would understand if my younger opponents thought, or if I was retired on duty, but I'm not. I'm still working.
So what are some of your most profound experiences as a veteran of the force? What are those things that have really just stuck with you?
Well, I guess, I talked about character and integrity a minute ago. I've actually arrested my brother for a bank robbery. And if he was here, he'd tell you I saved his life. I had a part in arresting my dad for aggravated sexual assault of a child. It was not easy to do. I have a cousin on the run in Mexico because he knows I'll arrest him for a dope deal gone wrong with DPS. I'm a man of my word. I've been working every day, and when my team tells me, quit saying that you're not a politician, I won't do it because I'm a police officer first. And I take pride. I think it's an honorable profession, and I think that when I say serve them all in my mission statement, I mean it.
When we're talking about seeing these younger officers coming in and training people over this many years, obviously you have experience with it. In a position, in a capacity like a police chief where you're the top guy, how does that change and what things remain the same?
Well, and there is change to come. There are those that would say that they're just worried about status quo or it's going to stay the same. Every division that I've commanded, which has been patrol, training, community services, and I'm losing one right now. It's on my site, sorry, on the spot. I have been a division commander over 4, and like I said, the current critical incident commander. What I believe is when you lead by example, they follow. And I'm an ask, tell, or make kind of guy, depending on what that officer asks of me. If he won't do what I asked, then I'm going to tell him to do it. If he doesn't do what I asked, then I'm going to make him. And what I'm talking about is using the policy and procedure that's in place and making sure that it's got teeth. And that's where my improved discipline comes in. Being a Marine, we're a paramilitary organization. And I think what that means for the community, if they should so trust me to do that job, is that they're going to get a better product. If somebody doesn't do their job, I'm going to ensure that they do.
So you're a very brass tacks, serious, you know what you're doing type of guy.
I do. I believe every division that I've commanded, and I believe that it's Criminal Investigation Division, which I'm the current division commander over, which is funny to have missed that one. But every division that I've been a part of, I was our SWAT team leader for 10 of my 20 years. We were very successful during my time. within the last year and a half, the Criminal Investigation Division went 7 for 7 for solving homicides. Who does that? Who does that? It's a team that decides that leadership is going to support them and leads by example, and they're willing to do the work. What's sad is that I haven't rubbed elbows with some of our younger officers because I am in command staff and I'm in a current role that I don't get to see them a lot unless there's a critical incident such as a homicide. And so they don't see what I'm doing behind the scenes, trying to support them, take care of the community at the same time. And I've learned a lot in 36 and a half years of service total that I believe that I am the right candidate for this position.
Mm-hmm. Where do you find time to kind of pull back and just be Mike?
There's not a lot of time these days. I get up at 4 a.m., I get a word in for the day, and then I get a workout in, and thankfully I was able to, my wife and I converted my son's room when he left home into a workout room so that I don't lose any time having to commute to get somewhere. So I get that in, because if I don't get it in before work, it's not going to happen. And it is tiring, and sometimes I miss a meal here and there, and not that I don't need to because I want to stay fit for the job, but that's when a protein shake comes in play. You got to tweak where you can, and we knew the job was tough when we took it by saying yes to this, and so here I am again.
How has it been just building partnerships with local businesses? I've seen you've had events and fundraisers at some places in town. So what's it been like just communicating with owners and then communicating obviously with prospective voters there as well?
So it's been amazing, humbling. Wow, I don't even know where to begin. Some of the folks that have bought on or signed on to say yes to supporting me has just been overwhelming, to say the least. It's truly humbling when you go in there for their support. And of course, the hardest thing to do as a police officer in this campaign is to ask for not just somebody's support and their vote, but to ask for funding for the campaign. And it's hard, and it's not easy to do, but my goodness, when a team comes together and says, how can we support you? And they do a fundraiser, and they're on their feet all night long cooking for the event, and then standing there next to you, selling plates for you, if you will. It's just, what do you say to them? I can't say thank you enough, and there's just no words. And they're the ones that give me these words to share, that when you ask questions about who am I, but they're the ones that share, well, we're signing on because of your character and your integrity and things like that. And it's not something you take lightly, especially when little ones that can't even vote, and they say they're for you. It's like you're not just trying to gain support from the police department or family and friends. You're meeting strangers that decide that you're their candidate. And it's humbling, to say the least.
Is there anything else that we didn't touch on that you want to talk about, or anything in general that you want to talk about as far as your campaign goes?
I'd like to end, I've ended a couple of my events with a quote that I saw that I just wondered who it was that had always said, I had always, way back in the 90s, we had baseball cards, and that we had our pictures and we'd give them to kids. And on the back I had, don't demand respect, earn it. But there's another sentence to that. And so when I looked it up, I found out that Mark Ziegler made the quote. And the second sentence is, don't expect loyalty, build it. And I'm asking that from our police department, all these young officers that I haven't worked with on the street, and I'm asking that of the community. That quote of, I'm not going to demand respect, I'm going to earn it, and I'm not going to expect your loyalty, I'm going to build it.
We've got Lieutenant Mike Hernandez here in our Fox West Texas studio, but that's all for now. For Fox West Texas, I'm Sean Humphrey.